All right, moving on. So we've talked about creating content. Again, data, maps, workflows, there with the example from Gary at Seneca. And now we want to talk about informing and collaborating. So taking that information and sharing it out to the rest of the organization. And you know, I've seen a lot of users, business units in the past couple of years making their own maps. And a lot of them can do it with the portal that's on-prem or with ArcGIS Online. And today, to give us a demonstration of creating your own maps with ArcGIS Online from the Esri Natural Resources team, Scott Noulis. Scott?
Thanks, Dal. ArcGIS Online can be used by anyone in the organization to manage geographic data, create powerful maps, and make well-informed decisions. The latest release of ArcGIS Online gives you the tools you need to enhance your workflows. In my organization, I've got a set of core asset maps for each of my operational areas published and maintained by our GIS team. Business units across the organization can leverage these maps to create powerful visualizations and better understand their data. The operations team is interested in learning about competitor activity around our assets in West Texas. So let's use the Permian Assets Map to get started. Just give it a second here while it loads. We'll back it up and try to reinitialize that. Well, first I'll show you that you can take advantage of several new data management capabilities in ArcGIS Online. Similar to how you can add data from your computer or the web, you can now take advantage of the option to add data directly from a cloud drive, such as Google Drive, Dropbox, and Microsoft OneDrive. Since my data is stored in Dropbox, I can easily browse to it and add it. Here's the layer once it's been added. There are several new features to help you enhance the quality of your items in ArcGIS Online. The first is the item information bar, which shows you how well documented your item is and gives you suggestions on how you can improve it. By adding a summary, I can give more context to my layer. And when I make a change, the item information bar is updated and a new suggestion is added. Now, one of my favorite new features is the ability to categorize your items in ArcGIS Online. Here we can select from a set list of categories to better organize our data so we can easily search for and find it. I'm going to assign this layer to the Permian Operations category. I can also take advantage of the content status feature, which allows me to mark my item authoritative or deprecated to encourage or discourage use of the item. Now that I've got my data added to ArcGIS Online and properly documented, we can go back to the map and add it. Let's see if it's working now. Well, we're having a few problems with that particular map, so we'll just move on for now. Another way we can leverage these core asset maps is to help the HSE group identify which assets in the Gulf of Mexico might be impacted by an upcoming weather event. We can use the GOM Assets Map to help for this. I've got a lot of points in my map representing all of my drilling platform locations in the Gulf. To better visualize these platforms, I can enable clustering. I can also change the transparency so I can see which features are underneath. Now I have a better idea of how my platforms are clustered, and as I zoom in, I can see those clusters update based on the extent of the map. Being able to visualize weather conditions is important for mitigating the enhanced risks associated with offshore drilling operations. In addition to adding content from my organization, I can search and add external content. The Living Atlas contains a variety of curated and authoritative data sets that can be used to give more meaning to the map. By searching the keyword weather, I can see some assets or some layers that might be useful. Let's go ahead and add the weather radar and this real-time observation layer to the map. So I can see the location of a few observation platforms in relation to my assets, which is helpful for monitoring real-time weather conditions like temperature, wind speed, air pressure, and more. I can also see the location of inclement weather in relation to my assets. Today, it doesn't look like there's much weather going on in the Gulf, which is good for my operations. But in the event of a weather emergency, we can use this map to create and plan a more effective response. Here's that map I first wanted to show you. It contains our Permian assets. And as I zoom in, you can see we've already got our leases and our wells added to the map. We can enhance this map with data from our organization. Searching for keywords, or searching with keywords, I can find layers that are useful for my purpose. This rigs layer containing data for drilling info will help me visualize where other operators are currently drilling. Now remember first when I added that permits layer to ArcGIS Online, we can also search for that. The recent release of ArcGIS Online includes several new ways on how you can search for data and add content to the map viewer. You can now change how your search results are displayed in a table view and a list view, and you can filter your results in whole new ways. By category, to see only the items in the Permian, and by status, to see only the authoritative items. So here's that layer that I created. The layer is added to the map with the default symbology, but we can change the style to make it a little more meaningful. I'm going to stylize by permit type, so I can quickly see what types of permits have been approved. Using the smart mapping capabilities, ArcGIS Online automatically draws the layer based on the values in the field. So I see a lot of blue and red dots indicating a lot of new drill and recompletion permits. Now I have a better understanding of what my competitors are up to around me. Also, in my organization, our well files are stored by API number in a file share that isn't easily accessible. I'd like to be able to view these documents, such as permits and plats, directly from the map. I can configure a pop-up with an attribute expression that will dynamically generate a unique URL for each feature by referencing the path containing the documents and the API number from the wells field. I can test this expression to verify that it works. So using Arcade, the expression is inserting the API number from each feature directly into the path. Now, when we zoom in and click on a feature, we can open the document directly from the map. So here's our well permit. And here's our as-drilled plat. We no longer need to hard code these links into the attribute table of our layers. And again, using the sharing and collaboration capabilities of ArcGIS Online, I can share this map out with other business units that might find it useful. Now, in this industry, understanding what's going on beneath the surface is key to success, and one of the best ways to do that is with 3D visualization. In ArcGIS Online, you can view 3D data directly in the browser. And here, I've got a web scene containing data from one of our clients. We can easily visualize the vertical and horizontal profiles of each wellbore in greater detail. Using the measuring tools, we can measure the distance between features to check on spacing. We can also see how the wellbore responded to different formations during the drilling process. And yeah, we can even visualize completions activities. So here I'm looking at frac stages. I have them symbolized by pressure, so I can easily see how effective each frac stage was, and I can refine my results, or refine my methods to improve my results in the future. And using microseismic data, we can better understand how the composition of rock changes along different sections of the wellbore, and how formations differ from one area to another. So viewing all this information in a web scene provides a better picture of how the play is being developed in a way that can easily be consumed and shared by others in the organization. And so with ArcGIS Online, everyone in the organization can take maps and visualize and create them to better understand their data and make more informed decisions. Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. You know, again, as I mentioned, I've been visited a number of clients the past couple of years, and I know as GIS people, we've always had people requesting us to make maps. But I've been really impressed in a lot of organizations that I've gone to where they're using these capabilities to build their own maps. And really what's amazed me is they'll come to you to create a map, but when you let them create their own map and some of the maps that they're creating, it really gives you a glimpse into the maps and content that they need for their business unit to make decisions.